Hello, I am Ahmed Elzawawy. I'm glad to be among you today in SELAC 2026, April 15, 2026, and in the meeting of the changing the game in global cancer care. Well, start 20 minutes in for presenting why is game change in global cancer care a must. It is a necessity now. It is not a choice. This not only on my behalf, but on behalf of all of the co-leaders, the faculty, and the contributor voice, and the win-win changing the game in global cancer care international initiatives. Rapidly, I am chair of Win-Win Initiative, chair of board of the director of Global Oncology Implementing Science, GOIS. It's part of GoU, and it's link. Founder and president of ICEDO, International Campaign for Establishment and Development of Oncology Centers. Past president of Aortic African Organization for Research and Training in Cancer. And emeritus professor of clinical oncology in nuclear medicine, Suez Canal University. And I am medical founder of Al-Sulman Radiation Clinical Oncology Center, Bursaid. I founded it before. Today we present special summary for Latin America Cancer Week. Disclosure of conflicts, none. I don't take fees for my lecture out of my university or financial support from any. So this forum is for free and for completely free expression of ideas based on science. I'm aligned only to what could be beneficial to millions of patients, regardless of who they are or where they are. The definition of oncology is according to Merriam-Webster is not as some there's confusion here by some organization and some because it is according to Merriam-Webster is not my definition, a branch of medicine concerned with prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and study of cancer. Oncology is not just to give drugs to cancer, prescribe drugs in cancer. This is according to Webster. Global, it means worldwide. So global oncology doesn't mean as frequently so that is cancer care and control in low middle income countries, but it regards the whole world. Otherwise, it would be called low middle income countries oncology. Well, along the last 3 decades, and still, despite society's organization, big conference reports, a classic publication, commission, agenda, etc., some summit, important political declarations, initiative to address the big problem of access to reasonable scientific cancer care, and in spite of touching talk about disparity, pity, etc., equality, asking for funds, charity. And there is a big jump that this a solution, that there are solutions. But what was the outcome in the real world? Well, the gap between the required cancer care and the available was widened in the last 2 decades, despite of all this. And there is no convincing evidence that the needs wouldn't be increased in this decades, in the third decade of 21st century. If you, I don't know, if you describe this as failure, this is failure. If you find another term or expression, just tell us. This is failure. And we continue. There should be change. The real scientific picture is the tragic gap and shortage of better value cancer care is widened despite of many blah 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 blah. Recent reports indicate that there will be 77% increase in incidence of cancer in the upcoming 25 years, with a tidal wave among ages younger than previous decades. Accordingly, the prevalence of cancer is increasing. We should be prepared for this, not to give fake news that will solve everything in few years, or some political declaration. I'll finish it in 3 years. This is a declaration, something like this. And we are here till cancer is zero cancer. So it will stay forever. It's like this. So there should be realistic scientific approaches to lessen the burden, to find solutions. Needless to repeat that that it is known that the tragic lack of affordability of better value cancer care in many low middle income countries is known, but there are underserved patients in the affluent and even in the most affluent countries too. According to American Society of Clinical Oncology, about 40% of American citizens, the first cause of fear of cancer is financial burden and the risk of bankruptcy. 40%. This comes before fear of pain and fear of death. You imagine this. ESTRO, European Society of Radiation Oncology, this is according to the report. All this is reference here, as you see and below here. The page. 1/4 of cancer patients in Europe didn't get the indicated radiotherapy. Don't discuss with me, discuss with ESTRO. This is published. In a recent report and in Medscape article, it stated that the median launch price of 13 new cancer drugs introduced this year was to 257,000 US dollar, which is more than 3 times the median household income of a California family. So imagine the comparison with other poorer states in the United States and with other countries. A comparison this with some countries in Africa, in Asia, and Latin America. So it is nice news that new drugs, but for whom? Despite the achievement of organization to increase numbers of services, statistically, 10 or but what's the achievement reported? Oh yes, there are many talks and festival and celebration and etc. But statistically, 10 or 15 new clinical oncology yearly in low middle income country, statistically, is very tiny in comparison to the needs of at least 12,000 clinical oncology service, oncology radiotherapy facilities in the world. So it needless to waste time or to dispute about the fact that with all effort in the last 3 decades, the gap between the needs and the available radiation and oncology and clinical oncology and cancer care service was widened. If the concerned players will continue the same, then the gap will become worse in the upcoming years. The problem is not in the excellent players in the world, but in the game. So we are not offending all stakeholders or excellent players, and no. But the problem is the game. So there should be game changing in global oncology and professional cancer care education and in focus research. If we continue as we are, the health system would not cope with the skyrocketing raise in the total cost, and that do not commensurate with the increase of patient-centered outcome. The win-win scientific initiative and GOES program, we advocate for lowering remarkably the total cost and the affordability of better value cancer care could be increased with smart and scientific approaches. All will win We are not at all offending any industry. In the contrary, all will gain, all will flourish. All stakeholders, including patient, cancer care profession, community, science, government, health industry, will win. Even their business will flourish. For those who otherwise, there is a risk of collapse of the systems. For those who claim that we are idealistic or dreamers, then yes, we are we are dreamer, but these dreams could be realized via scientific and smart approaches. And we presented many examples here in this presentation, but in our application, in our many things we reference. Didn't invent anything. There are many solutions. There are many approaches. We don't know why they are not highlighted, despite is made by many authors in the world. So if the world continue as the same, it will not be dream at all. It would be nightmare and probably collapse of the health system. Today, I present some example of tens of scientific published examples that could lower the cost and increase opportunity for affordability of cancer care that could be implemented without compromising at all the outcome. We'll find many other examples in our last book. This is the link, the first chapter, and all is free access. And there are many our presentation and courses, all are available online and virtual education. In our education lecture, 2020, 23, 24, 25, 26, there are more than 100 guides, videos, free access to all. And there are other links in eCancer for our ASCO guys webinars. All are focused on this. There are many examples. Some example of many. It's scientifically possible to reduce the cost of some expensive treatment by scientific ways by 70 or 80% and more without compromising the outcome on patient. Please see many examples with reference. Here there is this link, all the links here, and we can send you on demand the slides to have your link. And there are many. We have many resources. So, sources of for information. One of the many scientific approaches, lapitanib converting from 1,000 to 2050 milligram with fasting to 500 milligram with food. Abiraterone converting from 1,000 with fasting to 250 milligram with food. This is 1/4. You imagine that decrease the cost and decrease the side effects, gastrointestinal side effect. Pazopanib, okay, this example also, and vinclexta capsule converting from 400 milligram or 600 milligram to only 70 milligram daily. This is very interesting. And it's not with food, but when taken with 300 milligram pazoconazole. The doses of many of the some new drugs approved by FDA, like new cancer drugs such as monoclonal antibodies and kinase inhibitor, over the last 20 years, of the last 2 decades, were higher than it should be, because FDA approves these drugs based on maximally tolerated dose, which is wrong. The maximum tolerated dose should be the optimum dose, the optimal dose, and the maximum effective dose, which is different. Since all guidelines and big conference follow this wrong approach, and leading to off-target adverse events that may be fatal, as in the case of ibrutinib. Guidelines, ASCO, ESMO, all follow this FDA, but this should be. This not me the reference. Don't criticize me. I don't discuss with the reference. The reference here is Ratan 2014, and there are many references, and we cited many in our books and articles. Here's the reference. You can, and in the reference itself, there are many references listed in it. A good news, after many presentation and pleas by many experts, including us, that we cited over years. This is the link here that where we cited this. FDA has launched Project Optimus for admitted that it was wrong. Project Optimus, there are some mistakes. The Project Optimus for reforming the dose optimization and dose selection paradigm in oncology. And this is the link for Optimus. This is by FDA. But however, according to Professor Tannock, unfortunately, the FDA applies this correction in the upcoming drugs, not the long list of the present drugs and the past drugs that you are still used. This is not good. One of the important aspects to get better value is to have less toxicity and to lessen the suffering of in case of hospitalization or due to complication. So could anyone or any organization on society or institute or any guideline tell us? I would like to learn. Okay, if you have a reply, why, despite that it has been reported that 58% of potentially fatal adverse events are not listed in the initial USA FDA drug label. You imagine this. And 38% are not reported in any published randomized trials and high impact journal. This message for all, for many. And not highlighted in conference of big oncology societies. This is reference here. There are many references here. Moreover, why the voice of patient is missing in drug safety reporting? This is Bash 2020 stated that. There's many references here. You can revise them. Generic equivalent and biosimilar of cancer drugs repeatedly is mentioned as is the magic stick that solve all. But we emphasize that generic and biosimilar drugs could be of much more value and should not be cited repeatedly as good solution unless there were global regulatory consistency and trust in the good quality and flow of drugs. There is a link here to full presentation and about this. And for part of our book about this. This link you and come back with your ideas, suggestion, criticize us. It's open. This is the value of our initiative. It is yours. The waste of leftover in vials of some expensive cancer drug in USA is estimated to be $3 billion per year. Just that. While there are solutions, and nobody listen, nobody hear, nobody like to hear. Are we going like this? This is linked to solutions. There are many things, and we speak about lack of resources, big for charity, etc. The Mystic Global Campaign, the fight against counterfeit medicine that worth $200 billion and cause 1 million deaths annually in the world. $200 billion. And it is present, this counterfeit drug, not only in low middle income countries, they are present in the United States, they are present everywhere, they are in Europe, and many details are published. And even the number of deaths and the number of business is published by the Interpol. But what? This annually in the world. Here is the link to more detail. Are there solutions? Yes, there are solutions. And to detect this counterfeit drug, it's difficult, need analysis, expensive. No, you can detect it if we like. But there is big business, so there are many big persons involved, surely. A study in the US showed that 1/4 out of chemotherapy patients with 10 major cancer diagnoses who were identified as late or dying as inpatient setting of cancer drug therapy. The question, are you going onward like this? In Guys and the Win-Win, we call all to disseminate the message, repairing the comparison repairing the compensation system for oncologists and cancer professionals. That if we want to be serious and realistic in the real world, otherwise, in many parts of the world, in the world, the world known system of corruption in the form of percent of treatment prescribed, commission, travel, accommodation, all form of this is because doctor not gaining enough, depending on gaining money on prescriptions. But we stress on that remuneration of good living to all cancer care professionals, and I dare to say decision makers as well. Decision maker, everything. We should speak to decision makers correct. Okay, but they are involved. I dare to say the decision maker as well would be the first step to save a lot of money goes to expensive and nonsense prescriptions. I'm not speaking theoretically. Do you imagine the industry spend 35 billion, not million, billion dollars annually in USA marketing for pharmaceutical? Much of it directly go to physicians who themselves report in big studies that marketing interaction is written trust in medicine and trust in us as doctors is a result. But don't blame pharmaceutical company only that as always a mistake, or to blame them only, but because I discovered that the medical and surgical device industry spend more on physician payments than pharma, and this is the reference. If you have another difference to say the contrary, tell me, please, guide me. Just a brainstorming question for your kind feedback. Could this among other some of bad allocation of resources go to improve remuneration of cancer care doctor? Not necessarily a salary, but big hours for providing better value cancer care, for training, and generous grants for researchers that are focused on how to increase via science the affordability of cancer care and the real world. If we just direct this, you will find hundreds of solutions in front of you and how to be implemented, and they will implement it to be ours, and so on. That is, we call for the in the win-win scientific initiative GOIS program. We call in focus on this. The series ASCO GOIS, an initiative like Common Sense Oncology. This is our reference here. However, in the real world, such a suggestion will never realize just because you suggested, unless companies study and formulate creative approaches. That is why you should all of you are needed in Latin America, in the world, in Europe, all of needed to make a campaign to advocate for this, because otherwise there is this continue this corruption and this continue this pressure on cancer care professional, because this is part of their gain living for their family for live. So this is wrong. But there are resources to satisfy all, and patience also, surely. After a smart pilot study, if they find a strong possibility that these approaches could not lower the total cost and increase affordability of the product, but also boost sales, flourish their usual markets, and potentiate weak markets, strengthen the health societies system, and prevent depression, then implementation could be realized. Some may say that this is a dreamer, you are idealistic, but we raise the red flag. Otherwise, the whole system will collapse. All will lose. What do you think? Do you prefer to go like we are, or we think how to think together how to change? Surely the field is open for all innovative suggestions and smart approaches, and open for all suggestions. Just what I present is stimulating and brainstorming. One example of many of the need of the design and real world health system. This is I leave for you this for and if you to read it. It's about in East Africa and that after you say we will this society organization build something, but there are many resources are all the resources are waste in corruption and in this example of East Africa, $2 billion annually for referring patients abroad and India and taking commissions. If then by 5 years, then there will be $10 billion in 5 years. This could establish high quality cancer surveillance system with dignity to local patients while they win high standard. $10 billion every 5 years spent on this corruption. This is of commission, etc., for referring patient and taking. We should be realistic. This present isn't much better than wasting resources of IA, hope, praise, taxpayer in rich country, etc., in establishing few centers and keeping their resources for technically, but keeping the resources of this organization for resources for technical and development aspects, not for supporting money funding. There are resources. Could you change the game? We think it is necessary. What do you think? Here is the reference, okay, but for what I say, isn't that better than to change the stereotype talks and begging for help of many international organizations, conference summits, and hundreds of publications over the last 3 decades, while the gap between the needs and the affordable value cancer, better value cancer care in the real world is widening, and it will worsen. Isn't that enough proof to change? I'm just asking, what do you think? Lead that, please. The story of Global Cancer Fund without repairing the big current defect will be just create more corruption and abuse. It is like trying to fill a tank while you are not wisely using the water, and to abuse a lot of that could be spared with scientific evidence. And where there are big holes in the bottom, and you've tried to fill what's a big hole in the bottom. Previous similar initiative never succeeded to reduce the tragic gap in affordability and better value cancer care. There are some festivals, there are some establishment here and there, organization live on that, okay, and some, but at the end, if you see the whole picture, the gap is wide. Once again, we stress that guys and the winning scientific niche, we don't ask for donation or charity from any, but what we ask is your contribution with suggestion, idea, your advocacy, and your co-leadership. Welcome. As we stated and mentioned here, are examples of scientific approaches for game-changing global oncology. Please see many examples in our reference here. I stated many examples. For radiation oncology and allied sciences, this is the second series of ASCO International webinar. This is a link to this webinar. It's free with this ASCO guys. And e-cancer, kindly have a link for it, create a link for it, so can all of you access. And here is some example. It's very interesting. Can we double or more the number of treated patients using the existing radiotherapy facility worldwide? Yes, we can double it through science. Please see this video or this lecture, and this is a cancer link. And if you have any criticism, please send us. If any suggestions, send us. We are very open. The second one, this is just an example. The need for research and implementation, study and innovation that reduce cost of radiotherapy without compromising the outcome. Researches. Do you imagine that in many guidelines of radiotherapy, you may surprise you, only as published, but I don't know why this is not highlighted, only 9.7% of what is published as guidelines are with strong evidence. Only 9.7. You imagine this. So there is need in more research and deep focus on how to solve problems. Please watch this video and add to it, suggest, criticize. Don't miss the outstanding short lecture of Professor David Kerr, Antano, Carol Sikora, Catherine Van Loon, and Enric Soto, all that in our first ASCO guys, and there are other in second guys. And this is a link to the lecture of Professor David Kerr that you will listen and watching this session. Professor Antanok also is a link of his anti-cancer drugs for administered in short courses or at lower doses to improve access to effective treatment. And there is the reply. Professor Catherine Van Loon, the role of evidence in increasing the value of global cancer care, is the link. To summarize, if we continue as we are, I'm sorry for the voice outside, and with the skyrocketing cost and the increase of population, number of cancer patients, number of new cases, prevalence, the health system in different parts of the world will not cope. The gap in affordability, better value cancer care with dignity will be widened than today. Changing the game of global cancer care is a necessity and not choice. Let us do our task as cancer care professional and scientists to be through science the main part of solutions. It's main part of solution and not be part of problem. Not of the problem, not intentionally, but if we don't advocate and lead the scientific, smart, focused global change in cancer care. I correct this. We are very open for any suggestion, constructive critics, collaboration, and count on your feedback. We don't claim any praise or leadership. We didn't invent anything. Feedback, suggestion, precious comments, and active contribution and co-leadership are appreciated. There is a need for a lot of work and multiple leadership with defined roles. Welcome all. All what is stated of scientific example are just some of much more examples. Please remember that millions of cancer patients and their family are screaming as you are doctors and scientists. Don't wait for a policy maker, a decision maker, etc. You will wait forever if you will. Don't forget that this is our task. Don't forget the patients. Many million patients tell you, don't forget us and do your best to reduce our suffering and access to better value cancer care with dignity. With dignity. You can do if you collaborate together and be together. We need all of us, all of you in the world, all of you, all we have a leadership role. Go forward and together and be focused toward the goal. In GOIS and the Win-Win Initiative, we are attached to the definition of the dignity of a human being patient as physical, financial, and social dignity, going forward in fruitful cooperation. We are looking to your feedback, advocacy, contribution, co-leadership, going forward in fruitful cooperation. Thank you all. And this is my email, and this is web. We are implementing science to make cancer care affordable. This is a message of love to all humans via science. Thank you all, and looking for your feedback. Okay, I'm just closing. Waiting your contribution and hand in hand. Be leaders. I'm an old man, as you see. So this initiative is between your hands. The seniors and mid-career and most important, the younger, to lead this, to raise the flag. This is yours initiative. This is your initiative.